I was going to talk about dating profiles today, but I've decided that mindset and framing is so important in the dating world, and a lot of other areas too, that I really need to talk about that first because we need to establish a foundation from which to work, that's different probably from the foundation you've been working from. And so, talking about mindset, the first thing that we really have to think about is limiting beliefs. What are they? Where do they come from? And how do they hold us back? Um, Most people, and myself included in that, for a long, long time, had a terrible, terrible case of limiting beliefs that I didn't recognize, didn't realize. And once you start to understand that, it really opens up a lot of doors and a lot of possibility because, you know, uh, your results in anything, whether it's business, love, life, romance, fitness, whatever, um, what you think you're capable of is really the limiting factor. Because if you don't think you're capable of something, then you're not going to be. If you think you're too average or too old or, not smart enough or not good looking enough, if you believe those things, your subconscious mind will act accordingly. It will work to make those things come true because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what you believe to be true in your head and what may actually be true in the world. Limiting beliefs are ever present stories that your subconscious tells you about yourself. Whether they're true or not, your subconscious mind believes these things to be true, and then it tries to make your life fit that. They're assumptions that you treat as facts. And until you learn that they're there and learn how to recognize them, you can't begin to improve them or get rid of them. If you believe that you're too old, that you're not smart enough, that you're not handsome enough, that you're not funny enough, if you believe that you were just destined to always be friend zoned with women, if you believe these things, even if you don't recognize them, then it's going to be a guide that you follow without even realizing that you're doing it. These beliefs and thoughts feel true, but they're just interpretations. They're not truth. They're just tricks that your mind is playing on yourself. You have to recognize that you are not your thoughts, because if you were, then who is recognizing your thoughts, right? Your thoughts you could just treat them like a passing car. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not funny enough, whatever. Just say, okay, I recognize that thought and then let it go. You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to internalize it. So, how are these limiting beliefs created? They're created through childhood experiences, past rejections, social conditioning, media narratives, self narratives, negative self talk. If you talk to yourself like you're an idiot or you're not good enough or whatever, you know, then again, your mind believes you when you say these things to yourself. So, you have to stop with the self deprecating talk. I'm not good enough. I can never get a date. No woman's going to want me. Whatever it is, you've got to recognize it and then start to get rid of it. The brain generalizes situations to protect you. You have to understand that your brain seeks familiarity and safety over anything else. So even when you go to make a positive change without even realizing it, your body and your mind resist that because your mind and your body want what's familiar. They don't want new things because that's not familiar, that's not safe. So if you're going to push yourself in any area of your life, you have to learn to break out of this mindset. So how do you recognize these limiting beliefs? Look for anything that's an absolute. I always do this. I never do that. Women never. People always. Any of that kind of stuff is probably some kind of limiting self generalization. Defensive reactions. If you are being cynical and pessimistic and you disguise that as being real, then you have to understand that mindset and that attitude is actively directing your life. Maybe you're predicting failure before you even try. If you send a message to a woman and you think, oh, I'm never going to hear back on this, this is a stupid message. Well, your mind is thinking that while you're writing the message, right? And so your subconscious is actually directing that the way that you write the message. You have no confidence, you have no belief that it's going to go anywhere or do anything. And so, the universe acts accordingly, and it doesn't. So the more you do this negative pattern, the more ingrained it gets into your psyche and you start to repeat it without even realizing it. So not only do you want to say things to other people, especially women that are self-deprecating, like, "Oh, I don't know how to dress. I'm no good at dancing. I'm no good at picking restaurants. I'm never on time. I'm no good at texting. I'm terrible at messaging." Don't say those things to other people, but also don't say them to yourself because again, you believe yourself whether you realize it or not. When you come up on these negative thoughts, negative self-talk, recognize it and then think about, what is this belief? Where did it come from? How did it get ingrained in me? And start to pick it apart. If you say things to yourself like, I can't get a date, no woman wants me. Well, first of all, ask, is it that even true? Have you ever had a girlfriend? Have you ever been on a single date? Because if either of those is true, then the things that you just said to yourself are not true. So give yourself credit for the things that you have done. So what does all this limiting belief stuff have to do with dating? It's really the first step in the first thing you have to think about to get to this mindset shift that you're going to have to go through. And it's going to seem very foreign at first, but in order to be successful with women, you have to have a certain amount of competence and confidence. Competence is through building skills, learning how to send messages, learning how to approach, learning how to talk, learning how to create a bio, to have good photos, all of those things, to hold a conversation, to flirt, to be funny. Those are skills that you can work on and learn. You have to build the competence to then get confidence, and the confidence really is, can't stress enough how important it is to be confident. And in order to do that, you have to address these limiting beliefs. And then we're also going to get into frame of mind and operating from a place of abundance. It's got abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. So this is really the first step, in learning how to build that confidence and to get to a place in your head and in your mind where you feel it in your chest, that you have that you're not faking it. But when you go up and talk to a woman, that you don't care what the result is. If you get rejected, oh well, then you get rejected. But guess what? The guy that never tries is never going to get the date or get the phone number. So if it sounds like I'm getting too far off on the psychological path, just understand there's a reason, and I'm building up to something here that will become more clear as we continue. To wrap this up, what I want to say is that your expectations and your beliefs about what you're capable of, you have to examine those first. Because if you don't think you're capable of getting dates or being successful with women, then it's going to be very, very hard to be successful in dating and with women. So, what I want you to do is take a good hard look at your own internal dialogue, your own self talk and self beliefs. What are you telling yourself all day, every day? What is your attitude about what you're capable of and what you deserve in life and what's possible for you? So think about those things and look at where you are literally limiting yourself. And we'll see you on the next video.